Recipes, cooking, and eating great food, then you are a foodaholic. You can talk with someone there right now by calling 508-822-1106. And now, here's Tim Hollick.
Yeah. Happy Friday to all our foodaholics on this frigid January Friday morning, and welcome to Foodaholic, where family, food, and fun always seem to come together. I'm Tim Hollick, your host, and with me as always is the Take It Off, Take It All Off, Diane Landry.
Oh my goodness, good morning.
I figured you would like that one, Diane, on this cold day with all the clothes you got on.
My good,
Tim,
yeah.
the director will just say, cut.
Cut!
Yeah, cut it out.
Not this kind of show.
Yeah, cut it out. How you doing today, Diane?
I'm cold, good.
Yeah, it's a cold one out there.
It is.
It's going to be even colder this weekend, they're saying.
Yes.
Yes.
And Tuesday is going to be in the 50s. I heard that because Bob said it on his
Yeah,
show.
Well, that's the day you can take it all off.
Oh.
Well, welcome to Foodaholic, everybody. We have a special guest, a good friend of mine, Crispy Falconeri from Crispis Italian Cuisine and Catering in Bridgewater. Welcome, Crispy.
Good morning to all. Good
Hey.
morning.
How you doing today, Chris?
I'm great. It's Valentine's weekend.
That's right.
It's our best weekend of the year.
That's
Can't
right.
wait.
It's got to be a smiling time as long as the weather's good, like we were talking.
Right. Well, you can come warm yourself up with a nice hot cup of minestrone soup on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
That's right.
Oh.
Yeah, he's got good minestrone.
Yeah.
He does. He's
Among
got a
other-
lot of good food.
And the other 5 homemade soups that I make from scratch.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. The
Okay.
jar.
I make a very interesting clam chowder for those traditionalists.
Yeah.
We have the pasta fagioli.
You do make that.
We surely do, with the beans, and I use, instead of escarole, I use a baby spinach product. And it's one secret ingredient that is a little sprite of fresh ginger. And then we have homemade tortellini soup with the homemade chicken broth.
I love that.
I have this week. I made the cream of tomato soup garlic, which is a big salad when it's really cold. And really, it's very simple but hearty,
Yeah.
and people love it.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you serve that with grilled cheese sandwiches?
Garlic croutons. What else?
Yes! I love this man already.
Okay, Diane's a garlic lady.
Yeah.
There's no vampires near her, I can tell you that.
I think we talked about that when we talked on the phone last time. You guys, we talked. I'm sure that if your listeners would remember, but garlic. We roast all our garlic
That's
before
right.
we grind it.
Yep.
That way, taking some of that
Violence.
violence in it can be overwhelming. And
Yes.
I've had dishes that it's been overwhelming, but we take that out of the process that by doing the roasting and then grinding, and then you get a nice subtle. No matter how much you use, it's going to be subtle.
Yes.
That's a good thing, though, because sometimes it is overpowering. I love garlic, I really do. Sometimes it just doesn't like me.
Yeah.
I get
Exactly.
heartburn, all that. Sometimes it's my stomach. It just matters how I am at that time when I'm eating.
You're just so delicate.
Yeah, I am. I've always been a delicate person.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Well, if you'd like to join in today, we would love to hear from you, because otherwise, well, actually I got Crispy to talk today. I don't have to talk to Diane if I don't want to. It's 508-822-1106. That's 508-822-1106. We'd love to hear from you. I know a lot of people are excited that Crispy was coming on, because I got a lot of compliments the time he called in.
Yep.
And I knew it was very tough for Crispy to hear that day, so I got to get him in the studio.
Yep.
So you got any questions for him, call up, talk, brag about his restaurant, because I know a lot of people on Facebook have been saying all week long, or the last 2 weeks, oh, I love it there, I love this there, I love that. Somebody, last night was the tiramisu. So, give us a call, 508-822-1106. Now, Crispy, we know you took up a big landmark in Bridgewater. It used to be Costello's.
Correct.
How did you choose that place? How did that come about?
Well, at about 32 years ago now, I started at what it was known as the Wooden Nickel back in the day.
The Wooden Nickel. 3
businessmen from Middleborough, and I'm sure you know them all.
Yes, I do.
Built a building there, and they were going to open up. They wanted to open up a restaurant/lounge, and they asked me to come in. I was a 22-year-old at the time. Didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, we thought we did.
Recently out of college, and to make a long story short, they said, well, we'll give you this little room. We'll give you this little room on the side for your own menu, and if you'll serve us our burgers and sandwiches out the other side. I said, sure, we'll do that. So anyway, what happened was they I was doing great. I had a blackboard menu. I started with 12 items and a blackboard menu with Italian food on it. You know, we had the classics, the masala, the palm, the eggplant, the veal, the chicken. It was 10 to 12 items, and maybe a couple more on the weekend. But I was doing fine, and the lounge business hadn't taken off for them, and I knew it was going to be a problem because they were going to a format of country music and rock and roll music to get the kids in, and
That's
I'm
not
like,
your
that's
market.
not going to work for my base. So what happened was I had heard a rumor that Ralph Costello wanted to retire or get out of the business. So I remember this distinctly. I went up there. Honestly, I had never been there. My parents had back in the day. So I went up, and I wish I had gone during the day, but I didn't. I went at night, and I was all excited. Of course, I went at night. 22. I'm going to buy a restaurant
Right.
with my
Good luck.
with my father's money.
Yeah.
Well,
There's a-
well,
there's a
neither of which
disaster.
we had. None of us, neither of us had the money, so it was going to be someone's, but not ours. So anyway, it really, that's really how it transpired.
I love it.
And and the sad part is about a month later when I went in to take over, I hadn't realized what I got myself into, and I really spent a week crying.
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
Cleaning up a mess and since then it's been a lot of work. It's all, and that's fine. Work is fine. I work 7 days a week. I've been doing it for 35 years.
Yeah.
5 years for somebody else and 30 for myself. So that's not the issue. But when you start with nothing, you have to. When you start with nothing, you have to overcome a lot more than the person who. Hey,
so true.
It's not like Dad gave it to me, or Mom came up with someone won the lottery and here's your finance. It's a struggle today. 31 years later, it's not easy.
No.
Things that prices, Tim knows this as well as anybody. Runs a very huge business, and he knows the costs are up, payroll is
Insurance.
up, everything is up. And since 2008 in the recession, we've been trying to catch our tail. It's not fun.
No.
Not fun. It used to be a lot more fun than it is. Not to say, and at this point, I'm 36 years into a career. What other skill do I have? My kids have to basically dial my cell phone for me. I can't do anything. I can barely get emails.
Yeah, he's not
I'm not real good
electronic guy.
If my wife leaves me, I'm done.
He'll never have communication
I'll
with the
be able to
world
communicate
again.
with anybody. So that's really it in a nutshell. And here we are. My wife, she did a beautiful job remodeling the
She
restaurant.
did.
If you haven't been there in the last year and a half, the lounge and the dining room is recolored and a whole new bar. It's
Come on, nice.
It really is comfortable.
It brightened it up.
Yeah.
It brightened it up where it
Opened
feels
up.
now.
Right. And she, there's some great colors. She calls it industrial, and her decorator girlfriend, they did an awesome job. There's some unique things to the decor now that I don't see anywhere else. For what we did in a 10-day frame with Whitaker Construction Company, did a fabulous job for us. It just really turned out nice, and I think it's been accepted. And now we have to fill it up more. And
That's right.
That's
And
it.
that's the key to it all, is filling it up. But a lot of people don't realize, when you have an Italian restaurant, it's more of an ambiance thing where, me and Diane have talked, we've actually had shows about this. What do you go to a restaurant for? Is it the food? I go for both. I love the fact of what the experience I'm with the waitresses, the hostess, the bartender, a chef coming out here and there. That to me is what adds to the ambiance of it all, especially in an Italian restaurant. When you go in the North End, I think that's the coolness about the small restaurants. There are very few tables. The accordion player comes around, things like that. Those things people remember, and you got to remember, you can't just go there. It's not like going to Chili's and you're going to get something quick. You have to make that. You do most of the prepping during the day, right, Crispis?
I do,
Yeah.
and you're right. That's an interesting show. I wish I'd like to listen to that someday or being part of it. It's hard to strike a balance. You have to find a balance between the ambiance and really it's a balance of money. And
Yes.
it really comes down to money.
It does. Always does.
A lot of things in life do. Unfortunately, you have to strike a balance between what you can afford to put out on the walls and the
Yep.
physical plant, and what you can put into the food. Now, to me, I've always been a cook, so it starts with the food. I eat with my eyes. I eat what's on my plate. I want it to taste good. I want it to look good. I judge when I go out to eat. I won't. There's very few. Not that I'm not a very picky eater, to be honest with you. I eat almost anything. But I judge, there are certain things I look for in a physical facility. I always check the bathrooms. I always check the tables for cleanliness. Are the salt and peppers clean and filled? Are the air circulation, like grates and fans, they should be clean. Actually, they inspect those nowadays. I didn't realize.
They do?
When I got inspected by the town this year, they looked at my ceiling fans for dust. I thought that was interesting. I never been called on that before because I do them. I get up on a stool and do it myself.
Yeah.
Those things are important to me, and you have to, as an owner, I balance how much money I can put into that versus how much money I can put on their plate and do it and still make money.
Yeah.
To a degree, and it's a hard balance to come up with, but
it really is. Now, when you first started, your mother and father used to be part of the restaurant, because I remember your mother was always like a hostess walking around. I used to love that. And of course, I knew her from growing up with you and being at your house for the parties we used to have that was what I told you, it was the best parties at Crispis' house.
Yep.
That's where we all were.
Please don't tell my son.
Yeah, really. Hopefully he's not listening. But there were fun parties. They didn't get out of hand. Your parents were usually around half the time.
They were.
And they were cool. They were cool people. I've always loved your mother and father.
And they didn't end up in jail, which was a good thing.
That's right.
It's a good thing.
No, we never had any bad parts. People went there, we just had some fun.
No, and it really, you're right. It kind of took off the family. Our family has my house. Really, my parents' house has always been the gathering point for all my friends. Whether it's because they feel like and I think they felt comfortable enough to do certain things and say certain things, and there was always food and there was always beer when we were legal,
old enough
to drink it. So
it was 18
for us. It was 18 for us, so it was comfortable for them, and that's how things got started. And I think we just parlayed that into a business cycle. And my wife is certainly upgraded it because she's really good at the bar. She takes care of all the clientele up front.
She knows that end.
And the desserts, and she's really good with the internet on Facebook, which we were going to talk. I know that we were talking about what we're running for specials.
Yes, we're going to talk about your specials during the week. Now, it's Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, wasn't it?
Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Yeah.
And she's doing all the Parmesans, eggplant.
I have my fave.
Eggplant, veal, and chicken. Right.
And it's like $11.50.
It's I believe it's $11.
$11.
Holy smokes!
$11. That's a heck of a price for good quality food.
Which is a savings of $5 each plate.
Yeah.
And we're doing that till the end of February. It may continue. We'll see. We may tweak it and come up with something different.
Right.
But she's a real Facebook maven, and you should.
She is.
She'll make you aware of it either way.
She's always posted in the food sites, and that's where I see it half the time. Facebook has become the way of life. It's not a newspaper anymore. It's social sites that you hear all this stuff. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Instagram's big. I'm not a big Instagram person yet. I gotta get better at it because you're supposed to post there, then you can bring it over to Facebook. I just gotta learn it better. Because that's really in your business. It's all about the pictures.
Right.
It's the same with my business. I mean, people want to see the kitchens. They want to see the food.
Absolutely.
And like I said, I love your eggplant rollatini. You do such a good job with that dish. It's the best I've had around here, I can tell you that.
Labor intensive.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
2 words that come to mind. I've cooked a case of eggplant for going on 36 years for myself and other people.
Every night.
So it's laborious, but it's well worth it at the end.
It is.
The way I kind of tweaked the method, and we won't give out any secrets, but it's really good. I have people. I never used to do it for catering, and I finally had to relent and allow it this year over the holidays, and I got slammed with it. But it was, it's just you can't gotta give them what they want.
Yeah,
that's right.
Folks what they want.
And that's what I meant by ambiance. Mainly, the ambiance is the people around you, the experience you're feeling. The way the hostess will come over and talk a little bit. Like I said, sometimes the chef will come out, how's things going, especially if you go frequent to a place, they know you, they come out, how's everything tonight. It's all that type of stuff, because it's like going to, an amusement park somewhat, because you're there to be with people. I'm there to eat, of course, that's what you go there for, but it's all in how they, it was like Cheers bar, what was their,
Norm.
Yeah, no, but what was their thing that...
Where everyone knows your name.
Yeah, where everyone knows your name.
Oh.
And that is a huge thing for me. Like when I do my cleanse, I still go out to eat, but I have a place make me just vegetables. I just want grilled vegetables. That's what I can eat on my cleanse. but I still like going out. I don't have a beer or a wine. I have a glass of water, but it's still, I get the ambiance of the place, the fun, the interaction, and you know me all my life. I like being around people, and to me that's what drives my personality, and I think I like that better than the food sometimes. I really do.
Well, you're an outgoing type of guy. Me, I'm a little more reserved, I would say. I mean, I love the restaurant, but I don't think people have an understanding that there are other parts of my life. I mean,
Yeah?
yeah, I have a unique name, okay? That's the reason why it's named Crispis. It is, and it is my real name. And for those people who don't know, it doesn't mean burnt food.
It doesn't.
I never even thought of that.
Oh, you had no idea. I've heard that. I've heard
You
every.
grew up that way.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, your restaurant, your name's Crispis. What do you do, burn all the food?
Yeah.
No, that's not it. No.
What is the meaning of Crispy?
It is, it was named after my grandfather who's been deceased for 40-something years. We think when he came over on the boat to Ellis Island, that was Saint. He was named after Crispin, an ancient
Crispin.
Italian saint, apostrophe in. So of course they just left it off. That's a story we tell, and here we are. But I don't know of anybody else. There is also a famous statesman in Italy, Prime Minister of Rome, 1860 to 1900, by the name of Francesco Crispi as a last name.
The last
So
name.
we could use that as a derivation, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah. It's an interesting name. I never really looked at it as anything. His name was Crispy, so that's what I never looked at it any different way as a kid.
But before I got off track there for a second with the name, but I think folks, I work 7 days a week, right? And hey, I've been doing it for 31 years. At 15 years I got married. At 20 years I had children.
Yeah.
I have had to progress in my life to a stage where I couldn't answer the bell 7 days and
No.
seven nights a week.
No.
I'm just like Tim doesn't carve every door
Nope.
and put every latch on. But as long as I know he's overseeing the project, and I know I'm dealing with him on price or his people who do his work, I'm sure they're qualified over his 30 some odd year career.
That's right.
You have to have faith in that. Yeah, mine's a little more here. It's a little different because I get this personal touch thing with people all the time. Well, it's not quite. If it's not exactly the way I did it, but I guarantee you, everything on your plate, I have touched at some
right.
point. I made the meat sauce. I made the tomato sauce. I made the garlic butter that the shrimp is cooked in. I made the recipe for the bread. I made all the soups. I made half the dressings from scratch. I make all the stuffings. No one makes anything on the basis of that goes out in that restaurant without me touching it.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, it's true. Well, we're gonna have to take our first break. It's 24 past the hour here. We're talking to Crispy Falconeri from Crispis Italian Cuisine in Bridgewater. If you'd like to give us a call, please do when you get back. Coming up next at noontime is Middle Row Midday with Ed Rand. We'll be back. Yeah, it's just been guest Crispy Falconeri from Crispis Italian Cuisine and Catering in Bridgewater. And Diane, it is time for Tim's Tasty Tips.
It is.
I can't wait to hear what today is.
Well, we're going to do something for the slow cooker. How about making applesauce? It's very simple, and it's going to fill the house with this beautiful apple aroma. And there's nothing better than filling the home
It's
with
true.
a wonderful aroma.
That with a good whiskey. No.
Yeah, well, whatever floats your boat. Okay, this is what you need, folks. You need 8 apples. An idea would be Fuji apples, Golden Delicious, Max, or a mixture of different varieties. You want to core them, have them peeled and chopped. A half a cup of apple cider, 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon, 1 tablespoon of fresh lemon juice. Don't use that bottle stuff.
That's right.
And 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And this is all you do. You place your apples in a 5-quart slow cooker. You can add your cider, cinnamon, lemon juice, and vanilla. Cover and cook on low for 4 to 6 hours or until your apples are softened. Now you can either blend it, mash it, or just leave it the way it is, chunky, which is the way I like it.
You like it chunky?
Yes, I do.
Ooh.
And then you serve it warm or chilled, and that's it.
That's easy.
Yeah.
She's a risky kind of girl, isn't she?
Risky.
Oh my Lord. I don't know how Joe takes it.
Me either,
That's
actually.
beauty in the kitchen.
Yeah, I'm a beaut, all right.
That's too funny. Well, that's Tim's Tasty Tips for the day. I like the simple recipes because people don't have as much time anymore like they used to, so it's, you know, some of those quick recipes are nice that you can just whip up quick.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd like chunky though.
Well, whatever. You
Yeah.
know, mash it up until you get it to the consistency.
And I like
you
cinnamon in my applesauce.
Okay.
Yeah, I love
I
cinnamon.
had that in there.
Did they have some in
You
there?
missed it. Yes,
I didn't hear it. Yeah, I like the
Okay.
cinnamon taste of it. I think
1
it just adds.
tablespoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd probably put about a half a pound now. Half. See, whenever they say a teaspoon, I always put more. Especially in my apple pie.
I mound mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forget the teaspoon.
Extra sugar, extra cinnamon.
That I do less sugar, not more.
You know, well, sometimes I substitute the truvia.
Yeah.
You know, that works too.
Actually,
But you got to
myself-
put half of that in. Remember, never put, if it's a half a cup of sugar, don't put a half a cup of the truvia. It's too much.
So you have the recipe, the amount of sugar.
Yeah, do about half.
Oh,
It's too
okay.
sweet. You know, it's
Okay.
actually real sweet when you do the same amount.
Oh.
You don't need that. I think that's why, you know, it's so much more expensive for, you know, when you buy that type of sugar, you know, or non-sugar and stuff like that. But
I
thank
would
you
have
for that.
used the green apples there.
Granny
Granny
Smiths.
Granny Smiths, because
Yeah.
I like it tart.
Right, right. Now, Crispy, I know, you know, everybody thinks of a restaurant just as a restaurant, but you guys cater also. Tell us a little about the catering. And
We do.
How that goes.
We do. And people will either go and Facebook my wife and look for a menu. We have obviously reprints of our menu currently. Catering for us is an individualized, tailored to your need thing. I mean, obviously, I've been cooking most of my adult life. I can make anything. I mean, I know how to roast a prime rib.
True.
It's not always on the menu. I know how to do a baked ham. I know how to do everything pretty much there is. So I can't put everything into a catering menu. So what we end up with is, you know, they'll call, they'll leave a message of the machine. Laura, my wife will call you back, and we'll get to your core need,
Right.
and then she will come to me and say, this is what they're looking for, and I'll say, okay, well, I'll price it out, and then we'll get right back to you.
Right.
It ends up being a toss-up between Italian and a mix of other things, usually some form of a salad, some form of appetizer, and some form of an entree. People usually looking to augment something that they're doing with their at their home, a party. So if their family's big into making desserts, usually then it's an entree, like a chicken marsala or a chicken and broccoli with ziti. We do it with. We do a white wine sauce with a little bit of cream, or we can do it with Alfredo.
Oh, so there's I was going to ask you that because I like it on the lighter tone.
Right, so you want to go with the regular chicken and broccoli, which is my original recipe, which is the white wine, a squirt of Dijon mustard, a little chicken broth, garlic, a little bit of butter, and no cream, and at the end cheese.
No cream.
No cheese. But then the other, you know, you have to have the Alfredo for those people who are really.
They like the thick.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. Cream. Nothing has a mouthfeel like heavy cream. Nothing.
Yes.
Nothing
True.
really works like that. I can tell you, we use in a very small restaurant. We use 2 cases a week, and it's
Really?
Yeah, we use a lot.
Yeah.
We use a lot.
But it does add that flavor. It's
It
just
does.
amazing.
It's
that
nothing-
creaminess.
Right. Nothing to and
Nothing will take
light
that
cream,
place.
half and
No.
half. Not the same. Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Now I like when I get fettuccine Alfredo, I like it thicker. We used to go to Disney, and I love Epcot. And when we went to Epcot, we would at lunchtime we would eat the German restaurant, and then at supper we'd always Alfredo's, which was the Italian part of Epcot. And I liked it because they made the pasta. You know, you look through the window and they were making it right there. That was kind of cool. But I like the fettuccine with a thicker Alfredo. Just something about that noodle and the thicker part of it. You know, almost like it's more cheesy probably than cream. It's almost got like a stickiness to it. That's how I like it for that.
Well, we actually talked a few weeks ago, Tim, about the shapes of pastas.
Yeah.
And why you use one kind of sauce with a different kind of pasta. Maybe you can expound on that.
Yeah, that's a great thought.
Well,
Yeah.
I was thinking the Italian people there in Italy, they're very strict about how they pair their
Yes.
sauces with their shapes of pasta.
Yes.
I can't profess to know them all. I can tell you that things like my meat sauce, or what they might call it, you know, in northern Italy, like a duck ragu or a wild boar ragu. That pairs well with the fettuccine noodle, because you want something broad that can stick to it.
Stick to it.
Your lighter, say, shrimp scampi and your limoni sauces in Italy, they'll pair well with like something very dainty, like a vermicelli or a angel hair.
Angel hair.
We know it's angel hair.
Yeah.
Something very thin, very delicate. So yeah, they're very finicky about that in Italy. I know that.
Now, when you have your pasta, you know, sides and stuff, do you make different types like ziti, spaghetti, and angel hair, or you just kind of keep it as one pasta?
The restaurant, we've always, and I've tried, believe me, I've tried to get away from it. We've always had three.
Three.
You get angel hair, you get ziti, penne, or linguine. It's frustrating. Just folks, I'm sure that folks realize, like sometimes we'll have a really busy Saturday night. We might run out of one, and then someone will say to me, "Oh, you ran out of it's pasta's pasta, folks."
That's right.
It's all made.
Really is,
it's all
just
made.
the shape.
It's really just the shape.
Yes.
Now,
That's right.
I'm sure there's some
Yes.
vague.
It's true.
I'm sure there's a reason for your disappointment, but really, at the end of the day, it's flour and water and an egg.
Yeah, it's so true.
it-
But I think we get caught up in the fact that, and I go through my different times. I mean, sometimes I just want to eat ziti for a while, and sometimes I want like a fettuccine or an angel hair. I went through a period of time I wanted angel hair. I don't know why, but you're right. It's still the same.
Remember when we were growing up, what was the biggest thing in town?
Spaghetti, really.
Going to Lorenzo's
Oh, go
for shells.
That's right. They had
Baked
the shell,
shells.
baked stuffed
Baked
shell.
shells.
That's right.
Back
Yeah, baked stuffed shells.
40 years ago.
Yeah.
That was the big thing.
Yeah, that's right. Now, did you ever work at Lorenzo's?
I did briefly.
You
Yes,
did?
I did briefly. Yeah, things didn't work out.
It didn't work out.
Actually, I left my first job, and I was before I opened the restaurant.
Right.
And I was interning there, and then this opportunity came available with those guys we were talking about, and I left. I was only there for like 3 or 4 months.
Gotcha.
No, they had great respect for that family.
Oh yeah, they created quite a dynasty over there.
It's just not anything that I was used to. The mass production of product
Yeah.
was something I was not
Yeah.
in tune with.
Yeah.
You know, I was
You were
used
more
to,
that
I came from a cook
plate at a
to
time.
order background and smaller type stuff. It just wasn't something that I can respect it. It's just something I wouldn't do I couldn't do.
Yeah.
You know what I find fascinating, Crispy, is chefs move around a lot. And I mean a lot.
Well, you
It's
get
just-
burnt out very quickly, in one kitchen all the time, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think as a young person, that's the way you make your bones. You know what I mean? You want to absorb as much information as you can from those leaders in the field. That's
True.
How, if I were a young chef today, I'd be working at trying to get into Blue Ginger with Ming Tsai and Wellesley. For those of you who back in the day when things were better and my kids weren't as expensive, my wife and I would make a traipse. We traipsed there, try to get to there once a year.
Did ya?
It's a real treat. When someone creates their own cuisine, that's different than what I do. I certainly have some side of me that's artistic, but not like him. He's quite a unique fellow. I met him several times. We took the waitresses there, a couple times for a Christmas party.
Oh,
And
nice.
He treated us wonderfully great, gave us a great deal, and I brought the wait staff, and it was wow, great meals.
Yeah, but think of the compliment you've given him.
Oh, just
You are the owner of a restaurant, and for a Christmas party, you're bringing your staff
Right.
there.
Yeah.
Holy smoke!
And I think restaurant owners appreciate what you're talking about even more
Yeah.
because you understand it. So you usually perform all the time. It's nice to have somebody else perform and cater to you, I'm sure.
It is, and his, like I say, his is ethereal. It's unique. It's his. He has a very. His wife is very, very intricate in that restaurant. You can see it in the decor. It's worth it if you save up your money and go. It's well worth it.
Yeah, that's it's the same with us. We like to go to certain places. Sometimes we like to go to the Capitol Grill, just the way you're treated. They always ask you when you call up, is this an occasion? And usually it's our birthdays or something like that. And when you get there, You get to the table, there's rose petals all over the table, there's a sign card from all the staff saying, you know, happy birthday. You know, again, the ambiance, the feeling,
Yeah.
you feel special.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes people want to come back. And I also believe that what you're doing now with the specials, that's a great way of getting people in during the week, which is a tougher time to go out and eat. I mean, I'd love to go out to eat more in the week. It's just, I sometimes don't get home till late.
Yeah.
It just matters on what the day's like, so it's kind of tough to just say, okay, let's go out and relax. You know, sometimes I go home, I need to relax and just get the day out of my head because it was a tough day or something. You know, we always make a joke in our industry, you know, we perform brain surgery all day. Or if we do die, we're coming back as brain surgeons. It's got to be easier than going kitchens.
Right.
Now, what do you feel, I mean, I know you cook a lot of different foods, but what do you feel has been the food over the years that's made Crispis Crispis?
Oh, interesting question.
What's that dish that everybody just says you gotta go to Crispis for? I mean, to me, it's eggplant rollatini.
Okay, yeah.
I love that.
The eggplant is special. I have to admit that is one of the things. I think what we do really well is that's different than other places is it's all fresh. And I think if speaking to the women who shop for the family usually in groceries, it's a big difference when you use a fresh chicken product versus a frozen. I know it's great if you can save money and you buy a frozen product and put it in your freezer when it's on sale because of the way prices go up and down. But we have always stressed. I just didn't know how. I never worked with anything that was frozen before, and I've had great success with doing that. It works for the chicken parm, and it works for the chicken marsala, and it works for the veal. Veal especially is a very tricky product. If you buy a frozen veal product, when you thaw it out, it loses 15 to 20% of its water weight, and then you go to cook it, and it shrivels up, and it's like a dried up piece of wheat. I mean, there's no getting around it. So we always buy fresh veal, we buy fresh chicken, we buy all our seafood fresh. The only thing we bring in frozen is currently is calamari and shrimp.
That's it, huh?
Really, everything.
Wow.
And fresh produce we do a lot of produce.
Do you have raviolis and tortellinis on the menu?
We do.
Yeah.
We certainly have.
So you make those, or do you bring them in fresh from the place?
I get the tortellinis. I'll be honest, from Pasta Bene in Rock.
Yeah, they do a great job.
That's the best tortellini there is.
It really is.
We make our specialty raviolis, the lobster ravioli, the butternut ravioli.
Do you?
Those are in-house, and then
nice.
We have gnocchi on the side too, which is just a ricotta gnocchi. Very simple.
Right. Yeah, gnocchi's a nice dish sometimes. It matters what it's paired with, but it's different. And I like more authentic Italian cooking, and that's one of the parts that you have that, like gnocchi and veal, gnocchi, veal and peas, or something like that. To me, that's just different. And so I'm a very picky eater, so when I go to a restaurant, I have trouble picking something different because I kind of remember what I ate before and I liked it. So I hate to just all of a sudden stray over here and not like it as much as I like something else. I'm a perfectionist, that's why. And it's an awful feeling to have when you're trying to order something and I sit there and I struggle. I really struggle. I like his eggplant rollatini, so it's kind of tough for me to try something else. I want to, but my mind eventually says, get the eggplant.
Do you ever take a bite of, we'll say, Nancy's plate?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Okay,
yeah,
so that's the way you can branch out.
Yeah,
sorry, Nancy, but she's going to be taking more of it.
We always share our food.
Oh, okay.
That's one thing we do as a couple. We never order the same thing usually, that way we can both taste.
Perfect.
Yeah. And I know you and Joe do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a big thing.
Yeah.
Now, is your mother still involved coming in?
My mother is still involved. She does billing and things of that nature.
Does she?
From the house, but she is. My father is still with us. He is. He's a kind of a kinder, gentler form of what you might remember.
Yes, I know.
He was.
I went and visited him that one time.
Quite a character, as you remember.
Oh yeah, he's a good man.
He's still there.
Oh, we have a caller, Crispy. Welcome to the show, caller.
Yes, good morning.
How you doing?
We were just happened to listen to Mr. Crispy
in
Bridgewater, and I wanted to ask him a question,
Sure.
if I may.
Sure.
Okay, Mr. Crispy, we have a favorite dish that we can only find in Norwood, actually, it's fried haddock parmesan. Is that anything that you may be able to do or have tried or anything?
We do a fish and chip on the menu, and we can do it. We certainly can put cheese on and sauce on. I don't know why we couldn't do that for you. If you were to ask, I don't know why we couldn't do that.
Yeah, that's great.
Which would be exactly what you're talking about, right? You want it. You want a fried piece of haddock or scrod, and you want it cheesed, and you want a lovely tomato sauce on it. We can do that.
Yeah, that's great. And we usually get it at, with spaghetti, and that makes a great meal for us.
Cool.
So okay, well, next time we're in, we can.
Next time you're in, you speak to your waitress, and she'll talk to me in the kitchen, or she'll talk to my wife at the bar, and we'll make sure it happens for you.
That'd be fantastic. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That's
Have a
awesome.
great day.
Thanks for calling. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. That's awesome. And that's, again, a smaller restaurant that caters to, you know, individuals more. It's a little bit nicer because it's not a fast food. They've already prepared a lot of stuff in those places.
You really do make it your way.
Yeah.
Or their way, I should say.
Actually, Dan, I have to take the last break here. It's a little further than I thought. It's almost a quarter of the hour here. You listen to Foodaholic here. We have Crispy Falconeri from Crispis Italian Cuisine and Catering in Bridgewater. When we get back, we'd love to hear from you. Up next at noontime, it's Mirabelle Midday with Ed Rand. We'll be back. That's awesome. We're here on WVB 1530 AM. And we have my special guest today, a good friend of mine, Crispy Falconeri from Crispis Italian Cuisine and Catering in Bridgewater. And we would like to hear from you. We just had a nice call asking if you can make a certain dish. And if you want to ask him any questions, please do call us at 508-822-1106. That's 508-822-1106. We'd love to hear from you. As you can see, Crispy can, if he has something on the menu, he can make it a different way. And that's what it's all about with a smaller restaurant. They can sometimes cater to your needs if they can, of course. Now, when somebody comes into the restaurant, Crispy, I mean, you just redid the restaurant. What do you want them to feel when they come in there? I notice it's a whole different decor in there now, and it's a much more modern feel. Do you want people to come in and feel like they're, you know, around family? You know, what type of feeling you want to get in there?
Well, I want them to have that two distinct thoughts when they come to the door. Lately, since Laura redid the bar, I mean, we had to capitalize on this trend of big bars and eating at the bar, and
True.
it was a huge thing. That's why we had to do what we did. Because my wife has a core group of friends and regular customers who are there all the time, and sometimes they eat, sometimes they drink, sometimes they want to have appetizers. Right. So we needed to expand that area to get people funneled in there and be able to take care of them at the bar, because that's where the action is.
Right.
And then so you've got that area, and we've improved that greatly. And we left in the other areas for those folks who don't want the bar scene and they want to be left alone and to their own devices, and so they can have a nice quiet meal in the same atmosphere that we've always had. Sure, it's not as much family as used to be. I mean, we are, my dad's 83. He's on dialysis 3 days a week. He can't come to work anymore.
No.
I mean, we worked together side by side 27 years.
That's right.
7 days a week. I miss him. Sure I do.
Yeah.
I don't like working alone. I listen to talk radio.
Do you?
Every day. And I end up talking to myself a lot of times and do all the cleaning and all the prep, and I miss him. My mother has to take care of him. He's well. I mean, he's doing very well.
He looks good.
And but it's just his working days are over. And
Right,
I don't blame him.
He's put his time.
He put his time.
He definitely
And
put it
my
in.
sisters, unfortunately, are retired.
That's right. They used to be there all the time.
So it's my family now. It's my wife. It's myself. My daughter works weekends. My son pitches in when he can.
Yeah.
And we're the family now.
Which is good. You know, that's what people are coming in for. Before it was your parents and your sisters, now it's your kids and you.
Right.
You know.
Laura's the face of the business.
Yes, she is.
No question.
Yeah, there's no question there. I mean, you're out back cooking.
Right.
You know, it's the same in a lot of Italian restaurants are like that. You can't be both. You can't be the cook and be out all the time. I mean, maybe you can poke your head out there, but you can't be out there.
Maybe when I was 30.
Not now.
Not at 56.
No, no.
It's not the same.
That's exactly. Now, with the weekly specials, you're going to be talking about maybe continuing them after February, the end of February. I think that's a great idea with having like different themes maybe for the seasons.
Right. I think we've got to I think we need to work on seasonality.
I think so.
A tad. And Laura and I will get together on that. I just think it's hard in the winter because you're trying to balance the weather with your needs. As you know, we've already, unfortunately, we've had 2 weekend storms. We've lost a Saturday. We've lost half of a Saturday and a whole Friday.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's those things we can't make up.
Nope.
We don't make those up. So if God could help us out, we'd like the snow on Sunday and Monday.
Yes, exactly. If it's going to come Sunday night late.
All right, that would be great.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Because otherwise it's just like you said, you can't make up. It's like the ski places. You just don't make it up.
And it's hard whether you're dealing with a perishable product. It's not wood, Tim.
That's right. I can use it
Wood's
again.
not spoiling.
That's right.
We have to. I'm the one who has to deal with that every single day, and that's why I work 7 days a week for the perishability. Someone's got to check every product, every refrigerator, every vent, the heat, the air conditioning, the cleanliness of the bathrooms, the cleaning.
So you do all that.
All that's part of my job every day.
Now, Laura, she's really slave driving you now. I'm gonna have to talk to her.
So she can. Oh, she does a lot.
I know she does. She's a hard worker.
She deals with the public, and sometimes that can be.
When she catered Peter's wedding, Michelle's wedding, she was hopping around that hall,
that was great.
hopping. But the food, I love specialty food like that because you don't. Normally you get the normal stuff for a wedding, but to have your antipasto and these type of salamis, and I love all that stuff. I'm that guy who could just take a slice of, a big piece of salami and just eat it with a glass of beer or a glass of wine.
Let's just say she represents the artistic side of the family.
She does, yeah, she does. And she does a good job at it. I like what she does on Facebook or posts and things like that.
Right.
Now, do you guys pretty much on the weekends, like Friday and Saturday nights, do specials? Where you create different specials each week?
Yes. Come today. I'll be going home from here. Her and I will work on the special special sheet for tonight.
Gotcha.
And for the weekend. Probably be one for tonight, and then there'll probably be another one for Saturday and Sunday because it's going to be so busy. And there'll be a whole different array of desserts because of Valentine's Day going on. So there'll be a lot to it this week.
Gotcha.
There's a lot going on this weekend. Hopefully the weather cooperates and everyone gets out and honors their reservation.
No, I hear you guys do it. I always butcher what it's called. Is it ossobuco or something?
Ossobuco?
Yeah, it's was it beef ossobuco? Is that like
veal? You can make it with lamb shank. You can make it with veal.
That's a great special.
It is. I've done it, and I used to make a mock. I called it a mock ossobuco, and I would use stew veal, right? But the same process. But we turned it into a pot, more of a pasta dish. Right. Fabulous. So, as you reminded me, I can do that.
Nice.
I should bring that back because that really.
That's a great dish.
That's a great winter dish.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
It's all about the sauce, and the thing with the shank.
Yes, exactly.
What you don't get, the presentation of the shank, the big ossobuco, it looks good, but it's all bone, and there's very little meat around the edge. The way I was doing it with the stew veal, you got your meat worth. And tied in.
You're right.
Made a great pasta dish, and it worked with the cold weather. So I'm glad you brought that up, Tim.
Do you ever serve that over risotto?
We do quite. I make risotto every week. Yes.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yes, we serve with
fabulous
grilled. We have a great dish with grilled sea scallops. On top of that, but you could order it with grilled chicken on it, anything you like. I make a base risotto, which is not very base. It's got sun-dried tomatoes and fennel and celery and onion and carrot, all sautéed, and then I cook the rice to about less than al dente, so it stays firm, and then we'll finish it from there. Once it's cooled off, we'll put it into an individual pan and make it how you want it. Add the cheese, add some stock, and then put grilled chicken or whatever you want on it. And it really has gone over quite well.
Wow. Now we have cooking classes. Joe just started them at Wood Palace again, where we have cooking classes once a month. Last night we had the two senior girls from BP that demonstrated. It was awesome. Would you ever be interested? Well, I know you're a busy guy. We have to kind of pick a best night for you. Would you ever be interested in doing that?
Absolutely interested in doing that.
Yeah, because it's a lot of fun.
We
last
could do
day we had
risotto.
6 or 7, that's right.
Because risotto is, it's not, I think people, I think you'd be surprised, it's not anything to be afraid of, it's just a time thing.
Yes.
It's, once you get it started, it's just standing there and stirring.
Yeah.
It's really not a big
Is
deal.
that what it is?
It-
Okay.
You have to be patient, you know, you can't, it's
Yeah.
not something you can leave on high, and you can't walk away from it, but still, well worth
Right.
the results.
Patience, huh, Tim?
Yeah. Not much of that here. And I'm not a good preparer, so that's why I have Diane
Oh, boy.
in my life. She does all the prepping. She does all the figuring. She's my Laura. You know, you have to have that yin and yang together, because otherwise it doesn't. You know, you can't be everything, and that's the one thing I've found out in life. You can't be everything. So we talked about that earlier about, you know, a business where some people just want it to be me. Well, I had to finally tell myself it can't always be me, and I have to explain to them, I'm sorry, but this is how we run the business now. This person is my assistant, and they do this for me. But I am involved. I'm always having meetings. I understand what's going on. If something's going wrong, that person's coming to me and let me know about it. It's the only way you can do it. You can't be everywhere. And years ago, I tried to be, and I almost killed myself. You know, I remember a doctor telling me when I was about 41, 42 years old, I had my first physical, and he said, I've never seen such a worn-out body in my life, Tim. You either do something about it, or you're not going to be around much longer.
Exactly.
That scares you. You know, so you got to give it your all, but you can't give it so much of an all where you know you kill yourself. Now, my last question to you is, you know, you've been doing this for 35, 36 years now, Crispy. Would you do it all over again?
I think it was in the DNA.
It was there.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Hey, there's no denying the DNA. And it really was my father. My father worked at the Mitchell Club, which I'm sure you still
That's
remember.
right.
That's how it started. He's the one who did him with his crew. They would have crews of guys. This is 50 years ago. That did like Friday night suppers and Saturday night suppers, and they would do an Italian night, 7-course meal, and my father.
Wow.
And people would be like, oh, blown out of their minds, and they, oh, Ronnie, you should open a restaurant. Well, it didn't work out. He would tell people, hey, I work for the phone company.
Yeah.
I have a pension. I need to have kids. I have a mortgage.
Yeah, I can't do
You know,
that.
I can't. So along came me.
But maybe
30
Crispy
years
will do
later.
it.
So I did it, and I'm not. Like I was telling you before, it's not like I have any other skill at this point.
Yeah, well, you know what it is? This is what you were meant to do. You've pleased a lot of people over your life.
Absolutely.
A lot of people have had fun at your restaurant. They've had good food at your restaurant. It's like me. I look back. It was tough. But I always say, look at the lives I touched. You know, whether it's your employees or the customers. And I think that's what we go through life about. I
think
really do.
That's a good perspective, Tim.
Yeah, but I want to thank you for coming on today.
Anytime.
I would love to have you on more, because I mean you really know what you're doing. You're more of a presence than you think. I mean, you're a good radio personality. You really are. I always say I got the perfect face for radio.
That's what I said.
But thanks for coming on.
Anytime.
If anybody wants to try your specials during the week, that's Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The weekends are a great time. A lot of good people there. You know, Debbie Blaze is there a lot. Usually see her there.
Debbie Blaze,
A lot of
mostly.
people talk about your place. So I recommend highly trying this place if you haven't yet. And
What's
if
the
you
name of
do,
the place again?
keep going. What's that?
What's the name of the place again?
Crispis
All right, there you go.
Italian Cuisine and Catering. Next week we have a special guest that's been on the show before. We have Glenn Barboza from Berkeley Beer Company coming back on.
Oh,
He's going
boy.
to be telling us about his expansion ideas and the 3 towns that are after him right now, which is an awesome thing. And in 2 weeks I have a really cool guest. He's a client of ours that will be coming up in the spring, and he cooks on the egg. It's a specialty grill that looks like an egg.
Oh, yeah?
He's coming on to talk about it, the things you can cook on it. It's really an
Sweet.
exciting thought.
Sweet.
So that'll be in 2 weeks, and we got a lot of good stuff coming up. Joe's been really working hard on guests, so listen in. I think you're gonna have some fun coming up. So it's time for food for thought, and food for thought. I have 2 of them today. Couldn't pick from one. First one comes from A.A. Milne. I have no clue who that is, Diane, but he said, if you live to be 100, I want to live to be 100 minus 1 day, so I never have to live without you. I thought that was nice for Valentine's Day. And then the other one comes from Charles Schultz. All you need is love, but a little chocolate now and then doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
I want to wish everybody a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful Valentine's Day. Up next is Middleborough Midday with Ed Rand. Have a great weekend, Foodaholics.
Bye-bye.